Hey guys, sorry, it's been pretty much a week I haven't played and uploaded. This is a replay of a match I just started playing. I played, I think, two warm-up matches on quick matches before this, and this is a third quick matches against Obi Kenobi 9. This was on Ancient Spires, and it was actually a pretty good match. He's a ranked in ranked. He's ranked Diamond 3. So my opening here is pretty bad. Misclick my TC. Get the sheep in the way. Bunch of idle vills. Didn't send my sheep over, so I have a really bad opening off the get-go. And looks like he is going for a dock opening because he's dropping an Uvu, collecting wood. So he's going to go for that early aggression, which isn't a bad move either. So you can definitely go two different um, ways on this matchup. You can kind of try to boom up to H2 and get that Mangadai presence out, or you can get early raids out with your Cav. So if we reveal the whole map here, I do go two scouts on this. I wanted to get extra info and as much sheep as possible, since I was going to be going not for a wood build, so I wouldn't be going for docks. So sometimes that actually can be pretty detrimental if you don't get enough food to back it up. So before a dock, he actually goes for an early stable, and I do spot this with my con. And what I'm going to do with my con is I'm going to just sit at his base. I'm just not going to allow him to basically produce any cavalry. So I know I've got 3 sheep with him, which will be nice. Which would have been nice to be able to bring back to my base. But I've spotted his Uvu. It's way out here. Again, one of those moments where I wish I had... if I'd gone aggro, table rush, I could be burning this down at this point, and he would have to be pumping out one horse at a time, but he would be basically losing production versus us. We wouldn't have. Just little details. He sends a Zuvu out on the deer patch. He's going to rotate his stable over. We do kind of build properly and start collecting our gold at a decent time here. So we are looking to age up. Let's get the resources up. And the big thing is, once he brings this stable over, so 228, 227 is when it could have been setting up. And so we're just constantly microing our con here. We're using hotkeys to keep our villager production going. We don't have a stable up ourselves. We don't have the wood for it either. So currently we're locked on my camera, so you can see I'm just microing the con here. Just making sure the stable doesn't go up. We've delayed it already, 30 seconds. So that's basically 2 horsemen production. So yeah, we just have it on my camera right now. So you can see we're just denying this stable to go up, which is really important. It took a little bit too long here. And you see the stable kind of pushes your con out if you don't if you're not constantly microing it. And then here we accidentally took a little bit too long, and it would bring a con over. But he's getting up at 320, 25. He's placing it. So we delayed his stable for a full minute, which was a really big deal. And we'll take it off the camera so you can see he is. Let's go on to Obi's screen. He's up to 15. Aging with 5 villagers. We're aging up. We started tapping up with 9 because we didn't have any more sheep. And we had enough for some villager production, but now that we've got 4 sheep, we're going to pull 4 villagers off of here. In terms of our age up time, cranking it up with 9 villagers at that moment set us on a pace to kind of age up before him, which is kind of nice. And the big thing is we delayed any stables, any horses for a full minute. So if you was thinking go aggro, excuse me, we shut that down, which is nice. And he has a nice spawn here because he has the gold vein secured. I mean, we have our stone secured and 2 wood lines, so this might be a little bit nicer of a spawn because we have 2 wood lines and just remote gold. So we're rallying villagers onto wood now, and now he's producing horsemen. So his first set of double horsemen are out. So this is definitely an aggression that would have happened earlier. We also knew that this was going to be happening, so now that we've aged up, we're also building with our 5 villagers that we're rallying, 1 tower. We know that the horsemen are coming, no matter of when. We do get the age up before him, so again, that's just partly because we tapped up with some of the villagers. And this is where he has a nice little transition here going into this dock. I probably could have gone into a dock. Um, I mean, not right now in terms of wood, because I still have to get my range out. But it wasn't a. It's definitely it's a good move on his part to do it, as long as he doesn't overcome fishing ships here, which I don't think he does. So the big thing is his food eco. He has now 8 villagers on food, but he was up to 10, and now he's got 9 villagers on wood. And so he rotates a bunch of villagers. So he leaves 5 on wood, these 5 on the sheep, and while those 5 are collecting sheep, he's going to transition 8 onto deer, which is, again, a good move. He's transitioning into deer production, and he's grabbing shoreline fish right now. So his macro is definitely in a better spot than mine is. He's at 14, 13, 4. 14, 4. We are at 965. So we're at 21 eco. We're probably 2 eco behind. Yeah, 24. We're 3 eco behind. And that's partly because we went for a scout, and he's also got 1 fishing ship. I think that 2 fishing ships. And so we're kind of secured up here, but the big thing that we were going to start doing is we're going to start trying to burn down the stable. I figured he was going to go for a fast castle age, since I know you did just a little bit of aggression here. We do spot this raid in time to garrison before it gets any damage. We'll take out 1 horseman, which is nice. But now the big thing is we're cranking out Mangadai. We're going to start cranking out horsemen. Honestly, just for straight burn down damage, I probably should have just been double scouts here. So my Mangadai get a little bit distracted to start taking out his Khan here. We have our first early scout over here burning down the stable. But you can see there's a bit of a missed macro on my part. I'm upgrading to horsemen. I'm going to get early horsemen. But actually, early horsemen produce faster than the scouts, huh? Wow, that's crazy. I didn't know that. So yeah, I guess it is worth it to go horsemen here. Definitely not the scouts. But either way, my my downtime. I had a bunch of downtime in producing that. Does have this tower going. At this point, if I had taken my Khan, he wasn't doing much here. He's got double production horsemen here, and we're just trying to get him to commit to an army here so he doesn't age up in time. If one of these Mangadai had gone up here, that would have been huge to slow down this food eco. But overall, we're not going to do much because he's got 4 short fish. His macro is looking a lot better than mine. 13.95 for me, and he's at 24.54. So he's ready to crank out a ton of military. After his age up. And so that's what he's doing. He's aging up. He's aging up now. I kind of had a feeling when he pulled back his horsemen that he's looking to age up now. I thought I had maybe a little bit more time. And flanking us with a couple horsemen, which isn't a bad call per se. We are just going to move our Mangadai out of this. And we do kind of abandon our horsemen here to fight this. So it's a decent trade, not the best in the world. But now our horseman production is a little bit more consistent, as well as our Mangadai. And behind this, we are transitioning into deer. We should be dropping a gur here, and I'm doing a kind of a mistake. I've got 400 wood stacked up, and I should be using that wood. I'm not. I know he's reached castle, so I know it's just like going to be like 30 seconds or so. We get night. Yeah, and there we go. The first knight is out, so 33 seconds. The clock. And this stable is really close to dying, so we almost got the timing on this. Again, a little bit of errors in terms of when I was starting to produce military units. Just little details like that. My TC placement. If I had gone one villager, or not two scouts, and just gone straight into a secondary villager, would have been pretty big. This knight is going to come out, and we were really close to burning this down in time, but no dice. And again, we're still trying to, but at this point, I knew I was just trying to kind of delaying this and trying to, I was trying to force something here that wasn't going to happen. Against two knights with this small of a Mangudai mass, it's not really possible. If I had maybe 8 Mangudai at this point, then I think it would have been more feasible to kind of be chewing down the knights here. But a little bit of miss micro there. Lose a Mangudai. So at this point, I definitely don't have the army to fight this. Though we do set the stable on fire, which is pretty nice. You can see why if we had done this a little bit earlier in the fight, it might have been pretty big. At this point, again, we're not really looking to castle. I mean, we should have been looking to castle, but we're still trying to press this issue here. Our Mangudai probably would have been served better instead of trying to fight these knights. I mean, we do get one. It probably would have been better if we had sniped that villager on the way here. Because if we had been able to snipe that villager, even if we had traded out both our Mangudai and our Khan, which we traded our Mangudai for anyways, this stable might burn. So we're definitely harassing him a bunch and kind of getting into him a lot here. He's pulled a lot of villagers to bury, which probably isn't the best, but it's because he's run out of sheep here. I'm surprised he's moving his TC now. Oh, okay, yeah, so he doesn't have a Gur, so he's taking advantage of his low wood production right now and moving this. It's a good play by him for sure. He destroys his Uvu to build it back here. Again, not a terrible move, interesting. And this one Lancer that was chasing us that got kind of picked out from the rest, it is going to be able to escape, it looks like. No, we do kill it. Again, probably not worth losing all these horsemen. And we're just pulling our horsemen over and across. I wanted to see if he was on this gold or these berries. So we're just kind of scouting him out and seeing what we can. Unfortunately, this tower here does snipe us before we can do too much scouting. So at this point, we are looking to castle up. We don't really have a standing army at this point. We've done a lot of pressure on him and kept this kind of match on his side of the field up to this about 13-minute mark. And we're just in terms of resources, we're way behind on food compared to him. So he's going to be able to crank out a bunch of armies. So we're going to be playing defensively at this point. A kind of early gambit didn't work. And if you watch, he is moving and positioning himself north. And he does a really good job of sprawling across the map with towers here. So you can see he's starting there. He's building another one down here. Really beautiful tower positions here. He's going to start raiding us here. So we garrison our villas. Luckily, we don't lose any villagers, but this is a decent force here. It's 2 knights and 2 horsemen. A lot of people don't realize that that's enough to burn down a tower. I mean, we microed our tower onto that horseman, and unfortunately, I let it just auto shoot, and it's shooting the Khan. I would have liked it to shoot the horse. Again, little mistakes. Pull my Mangudai, small Mangudai force. I see this tower going up. I'm gonna try to stop this tower going up and just kind of let my tower do its thing. It does pick up the Khan, which is kind of nice. Flooding in more units. So behind this, we're tapping up with a step readout. We've built a bunch of towers. They have enough garrison space for our villagers. We do have 40 villagers. Some of them are out here, kind of doing their own thing. Just kind of hoping they don't get spotted. And yeah, so this small raiding force of knights is able to do a lot of damage against towers. Pretty impressive how weak those towers really are. So I'm taking the scout that went all the way around the map, and he's going to check out kind of down here and see what there is for production. We do clean up this force here, which is kind of a bit of a loss for him. And then we can see in terms of, let's just go to his vision real quick. He's got enough food to almost go to imp at this point, which probably would have been which probably wouldn't have been a really a bad choice for him to just go straight into imp. So I've reached castle. He's massing army. He's tower crawling at the front of my base. Also in the back of my base, he's getting a tower up. Kind of my fault for not establishing towers there as well to kind of see these kind of towers against the Mongol enemy. You should kind of expect this kind of pressure. And he's rotating into a bunch of stables, which is not a bad. We take our Mangadai up and around. We do unfortunately lose this scout because of the Yamaro. And we sacrifice these Mangadais to kill this villager. Probably not worth. And then, for whatever reason, it took a while for the sheep to like aggro onto the Khan. So we pretty much lose everything here. So it did not work at all in our favor. And then over here, he sees that we are in the step readout. So we start aggroing this with our couple of knights now that we have knight production. And we know that his knights are on the way here for sure. 100%. And so that's where we're going to build a couple of quick towers here. Try to defend this position. And the knights do show up before we can really do that. And we're just going to pull our knights out. Try to get out of here. We build this one tower and then kind of villager bait here a little bit. Garrison 5 and pull the other ones back. And our knights are getting chewed up in terms of numbers here. It's kind of unfortunate. But we do a decent trade. Not the best trade in the world. But now that there's a Springle Tower here, we really do need a good cav mass to fight this. Unfortunately, my this one do that mission. That tower, that Springle Tower range is pretty impressive too. I thought I was out of range there and I wasn't. So behind this, if you look at my eco, I have a 42, and his eco is at 55. So he's definitely done a lot better than me in terms of macroing here. He has 4 boats, 5 boats, so that's helped him a lot here. I wonder if he's double produced any. Just probably downtime then on my part in terms of idling. So yeah, he's done a really good job there in terms of macro. So little details like this is what can definitely change a match in your favor. But in terms of defensively turtling, we do a pretty good job of consolidating here and kind of stabilizing ourselves against this kind of advantage that he has. He does pull this army back, which you do see on our screen, but I didn't notice it until I so when I go down to attack this tower is when I notice that he doesn't have anybody in there, which kind of helps for damage in terms of the arrows. Without those arrows shooting us, a little bit less damage. So we're going to be able to get this burned down, which is nice, a little bit of resources. This is also a point of the game where I kind of wish I had gotten raid bounty upgrade. We did send a villager way up here to kind of get some stone for us. There wasn't really any stone on the south side of this map. It was all kind of to the north here. So it's kind of going to be a tough transition for us if we start to get pushed out. And we were kind of unlucky here. This 2 horsemen and a knight spot our villager rotating built this tower. We cancel the tower. We garrison these villas. We're getting raided by let's see here. 3, 7, 8, like 9, 10 horsemen. We try and build towers up here on our gold and kind of reestablish this gold line up here to the north. It did not work. We are sending our Mangadai force to go raid. we need to get some damage in. Sure. Again, we're at 46 eco, and he is at 65. We got a big eco difference at this point, 20 villagers, which is pretty huge. Part of it is, the docks, but definitely not all of it. He's done a good job of kind of putting more consistent pressure on us. We do see this outpost going up. I guess we weren't too worried about it. We're going to burn this down and then this one down. I must have felt like I had enough time to do both. We did mess up our raid timing down here. We had them idled. If they had caught this a little bit sooner, it would have been very nice. I was going to go check out this wood line. I don't see these villagers collecting the food, unfortunately. Which would have been huge if you'd been able to crush that. So he's looking to imp. And he's hitting us with a really nice raid here. He's got 20 horsemen. Or 10 knights, 9 horsemen. Again, a little bit of a misclick here. If we had clicked up here, it would have been huge. We would have been definitely buying ourselves some time here. We were doing stuff here. We pull one of our stables, try to save it. We are picking up relics. We have our first relic coming in. We did try to secure relics on this matchup. Since he got castle first and was getting map control with the knights, didn't want to lose that. We kill a couple villagers here and stop the production of one of his archery rangers. He did this with 2 barracks. And we see all these villagers on the wood line. Again, we're not raiding the best we could because there's a juicy raid right here of 16 vills on food. It would have been really big because his food production currently is 22 vills. Yeah, that would have been all of his food production. We pull our monk up here just to deter fighting us. It does kind of work. I think he might have just been pulling out just to avoid the fight here with the cav. It's probably not worth it to lose those units. And yeah, he's got a nice fat force here. He's got, again, 20 cav units, including the Khan. His Khan kind of gets picked out in a bad spot here. And we kill a few villagers here on his wood line. And we do see him tapping up the white stupa. So we kill a couple more vills here. So eco count, we are still at 46. And that's where we were at like 5 minutes ago. And he's at 60. So we have killed a few villagers and we're kind of reduced the military or the eco difference. It's now only 15 villagers different instead of the 20 that it was. So again, we're doing okay damage here. Nothing spectacular, just a little bit of harassment. And he is pulling his whole army back, which is kind of to our favor. We do notice that his cav was kind of out of here, and I kind of felt like he was pushing us. So we take this time to burn down these towers. Again, if we had gone the raid bounty upgrade, this would have been a lot of resources. Plus 50 food, 50 gold, so plus 50 basically. And this thing costs 150, so 350, so 7 billion. We got 1, 2, 4, 5. Yeah, probably close to paying for itself. We killed one of those villagers, so again, a little unfortunate in terms of our timing here on the raids. If we had gotten this raid on this food earlier, it would have been really big and alleviating pressure. Another little bit of a mistake is we run through a Springle Tower to burn another Springle Tower, and we didn't react in time to burn that other one. So we took a little bit of extra damage, more than we needed to. But we do burn down this tower and get more resources, which is nice. Our base is starting to solidify. We're going up to 5 stables, 7 stables. And he is at 1, 2, 3 stables, 2 ranges, 2 barracks. So he's at 7 production buildings. We are at 7 stables, 3 ranges. We have him in terms of more military production available. So he's got us in terms of eco, but if we can sustain enough eco, we can definitely turn the tides here. So we're at 51 eco, bringing in our second relic, and he's at 60 eco. So at this point, with those little bit of raids, we've reduced again by half. What was 15 villager difference is now an 8 villager difference, which is pretty big. But I knew he had a really big cav force, as you can see here. And I didn't realize that he was mixing this much infantry with it yet. I mean, I saw the barracks and it was kind of inevitable, but I wasn't sure how much he had. Shaman coming down to pick up this other relic. And he's building battering rams now. So I did kind of feel like he's going to start pushing me heavy. We do come over here to raid. We kill, I think, 2 villagers. Bad. Eco's at 54. His eco's at 59. Oh, so I guess he deleted these ships after they finished, which isn't a bad move at all. So yeah, that's in part why we're equal 9, and we are 54 because he's deleting some ships besides the villager kills. So we're scouting through here and we're rotating up to this gold. We knew his step readout was up here. So he's got 13 vills here, and we're gonna kill a whole bunch of villagers. I probably would have been good to position my Mangudai a little bit further up to kind of trap him back. Only 4 of those villagers survive, which is really good. So now we're at 56 vills and he's at 50. So now at the 25-minute mark, really nice and early in the game, we've taken a villager lead. Behind this, we're about to get quadruple ram pushed, and we're just massing a good army just to kind of defend our base. And we are starting to build siege workshops. I knew I saw crossbowmen and these types of things, so I figured he was going to start pushing us. You can see over here, we're just coming around his line to kind of raid again. If we go to our vision, I can see this wood line, and I can see he's starting to push me here. So he's starting to hit my main base, but at the same time here we were hitting... let me just pause this real quick. He's got 20 villagers here. So we hit this wood line right when he started to push us here. He's got 32 army here, 7 army. In total, he's got 50 military, and we've got 37. So we're a little bit outmatched in terms of military numbers, but we're playing defensively. We've got 4 Springald towers, 1 archer tower, and a bunch of villagers that are going to garrison. So it's a lot of firepower here to hold, for sure. But he does have a really good army here. But the big difference here was that we had raided him right when he was attacking us. So this put a real... he was focused on this, and with the attack notifications here, and he did not notice this massacre over here on his villagers, which is big. So over here, we are taking not a very favorable fight with our cav. I should have pulled them back, which I do finally, and I pulled some villagers to burn down these battering rams. I'm not sure what happens. They burn down one, and then they go on a big running mission. Okay, so they run after this one. So I wasn't microing it the best. I did try to Wololo here. It doesn't work. So I wasn't microing the best, you can tell, because I sent my villagers out on an escapade, and would have been much better, if that ram had just been doing nothing, and we had burnt down this ram. In terms of damage to our base, we would have saved 2 Springald towers, which would have made this defense a lot cleaner. So a little bit of cleaner micro would have made a big difference. Over here, we see we've killed a ton of villagers. There's no villager here. At this point, he messages me LOL or something because he realized that his wood line is non-existent anymore. And then over here, he's got 13 vills, and he's going to lose them as well. Again, he's not paying attention. That is the one plus about fighting a Mongol opponent. He loses half of his vills there because he's kind of doing other things. So over here, unfortunately, our food is completely shut off, and I don't have a market. So this is one mistake, I guess. I do have enough wood now to float a second TC, which is going to be pretty big. Our eco right now, compared to his eco is at 28. Let's just check where his eco even is. He's got there, he sees our Uvu. He's got 11 villagers on there, 11 idols in the TC, so that's some of them in the TC. These villagers are idle, and 2 villagers on food, wherever they are. So we've done a good job of really hampering his eco. He's at 28 eco, 16 military. We're at 27 eco. So we've equalized our ecos again, which is really... And he has to pull back his army here. We do lose these villagers, just sloppy play garrisoned. But we're gonna tap up a second TC now. We have the wood for it, so I thought we could do it. We do lose our manga here. We raided his gold line because we figured that's the one thing we knew where it was at and we hadn't touched yet. And yeah, so we lose our buildings here. A little bit painful, but he's lost a bunch of his military and he's kind of has to re up again. And so and so do we. The big advantage that he has is that he is in Imp, and he does have elite lancers. So his elite lancers are doing quite a bit of work compared to my castle age lancers. So in terms of army comps, we're gonna be outclassed here. We drop a tower back here because I see his 3 villagers, so I was worried he's gonna drop a tower. And at this point, I messaged him, how many villagers do you have? And he tells me he's got 89. So good thing I didn't believe him. He does lose a little bit of villagers here because of a little bit of miss microing. Loses those 3 villagers. We're at 28 eco, and he's at 30 eco. So he's ahead of us just barely, but we're going to be able to kind of flip the script on him again. So he does go up to a second TC. Okay, cool. I didn't realize he had a second TC. He went up to a second TC as well. And yeah, in terms of our fights here, we start cranking out units. We're cranking out cavalry because I was worried about him pushing. I knew he had a little bit of a cav force. I should have just committed to Mangadai and continued to raid because my Mangadai raids were super effective. I knew that his gold was finishing out. I knew that he was going to rotate to this gold. And yeah, if I had stopped this gold, that would have been really big. Not just in terms of stopping gold production, but in terms of killing villagers. So we're at 33 eco at 37. So we're really similar eco. Yeah, this match is very interesting. Very interesting in terms of how it can be played. Here we're going to re-up with our towers with 3 villagers, so they tap up fairly fast. He does have cannon towers now, so it's expensive in terms of stone cost. Again, we're not too worried about it. At this point, I am trying to. I'm going to drop a market so I can start building trebuchets. Back here, my con scouts. Yep, 100%. He has moved his gold. But at this point, I know his gold is over here. Yeah, there's a chance it was up here, but when I first came over to go scout that other area. So again, if I had Mangadite up instead of gone up with Cav, so if instead of having 6 knights here, 40 food, 100, 120, yeah, so I'd have more food. I could have at least 7, maybe 8 Mangadite produced at this point. And that would have been pretty big, because I could have kept him off of this gold and this wood. And been a real hindrance to him because his knights would have taken a lot more damage. And he does a good job again, sending over villagers, building more tower sprawl. Archon comes over, and Archon does quite a bit of damage. The H3. He's like 6-shotting villagers basically. So he killed the Towerville. But we're gonna get taken out. But the big thing you see, he only had like 5-6 knights here. So we definitely could have, with a bunch of knights, we could have done something there. We have dropped our market. We are building trebuchets up, and we have secured 4 relics. There is one more relic up here by the boar that we still want to secure. He's got cannon towers. He's building towers everywhere. And so the big thing here was we knew we only had 28 gold left on this, so it's not hard to have this main gold here, but we're being sustained right now by our relic production. We have half the gold income of his stat rate out basically just because of our relics. And we are trapping down his tower now. And we have a lot of cav here, so we can fight. We have a bunch of scouts as well. Don't want to lose vision during these fights. And we are starting to build Mangadai. Notice that this outpost was kind of aggroing us, so we're going to re-rally over here. And yeah, it's kind of painful to watch that we didn't get a good raid in here throughout this whole time. After getting that huge amount of kills on this wood line, that was definitely the next big play, was to be able to continue Mangadai raiding here and keep him off of that line and subsequent gold. So we've taken on this outpost. You know, he's got a little army of knights here, so I'm not too worried. At this point as well, we've got 50 eco, 29 military, and he's got 46 eco. We've actually surpassed him in terms of eco now, and we have double his military. So at this point, we were in a really, in a pretty good spot of being able to go with his aggro. In terms of army quality, his army quality is a lot better though. Got Lancers, 230 HP, and he's got Elite Lancers with 270, 43 attack. So yeah, they're a lot stronger. They're like almost like 1.25 of these guys in terms of their stats. So where I have 4, got 5. Or I mean, basically his 4 count as like 5 of mine or 6 of mine. So we finish this gold out real quick. We rotate down to this one. He does notice us with his tower, with our cav, so he's going to try to contest us here. Decent cav force, 17 knights. Over here, he's got decent cav force, 14 knights, 3 on. He kind of gets aggroed into there. Towers do quite a bit of damage. Nice. We are rotating onto here. Cons here, Mangadai here are going to take out these villages building towers. If these guys had been in this fight, it probably would have been a little bit better. Snipe out these crossbowmen with basically a mix of scouts. And we're fighting here, but it's a losing fight. We're definitely not going to win this. Committing to this was probably a mistake. I probably should have just pulled back my forces, pulled back my step readout, and stopped building these towers and committed to something up here. So we come down and we're starting to fight here. Trebuchet is still dealing with his towers that are kind of sprawling everywhere. And yeah, just kind of bad play by our part trying to commit here. We're at 58 eco and he's at 54. So we still have maintained an eco lead, and his military is okay. Where he's suffering the most is in terms of like which we were doing okay at with 31. Let's see income per minute. Yeah, we've got more income per minute right now. So we're just kind of harassing this force of his. We've whittled it down, even though he had better units and numbers. The Mangadai are kind of paying for their weight here. And we do send our knights onto these crossbowmen. A little bit of mismarker with a Mangadai. You do have to respect the knights though when you're at this low health. They will one-shot. And so we've been able to kind of repel this force here. And it is kind of a bait to stay here though. Definitely probably not worth it. 53 eco on his part, 56 on our part. So we're still a little bit ahead. And we keep dropping these towers of his that he keeps placing, so we're getting resources from that. Pasture. And we are building towers up here. We're going to lose our Uvu, but we have gotten 2 upgrades, Raid Bounty and additional torches. Additional torches was nice. For example, we turned on outpost with a small amount of cav. And we're just going to fall back from this. We're not able to hold. Spearmen with a little bit too much. I mean, we've got a decent massive Mangadai here, but it's definitely going to be an issue fighting his forces here. And he's just trickling more troops over. So at this point, I would be surprised if we have more military. Yeah, he's got 26 military, 56 eco. We've got 25 and 59 eco. So we've kept a little bit of an eco. We burned down this tower, easy resources there. Have to pack up our treb a little bit. And we do kill this one villager that was building over here. We try to crank out another tower. Definitely a little bit too greedy here for sure, trying to get that tower up. But he knows he understands what he's got to do here. He's got to keep me off of gold. He has transitioned to this gold up here. His landmark he must have forgot. So just a little misclick on his part here. And he does have hand cannoneers coming. So we're at 65 eco, and he's at 57. So we're still pulling ahead in terms of eco. He's got 32 military. He's got 21. He's constantly investing stone into these towers and wood. He's doing a decent job in terms of sieging those down. Behind this, we are building mangonels. We want to get a mangonel force going, so we can kind of fight his army, which is starting to transition into late age. Lots of infantry, handgunners, crossbowmen. So we definitely have to deal with that. His villagers who are mining gold are unfortunately long distance mining. I don't know where they're at exactly. Oh, so they're dropping off at this girl over here. So that's why his gold starts to drop off really bad, and he doesn't notice it. It's a little bit of a misclick on his part, for sure. Kind of saves us and keeps us in this game. 66 to hit. Got 40 military. We got 33. We're able to fight this force here. We can deal with these guys with our Mangandai. Cav is fighting down here. Easily, this is definitely a winnable fight down here in the south. And we have our Mangonel up. And I think it's one big key too. It never transitions into Mangonels. So at this point, I kind of see his army has transitioned into infantry. I know where his gold is supposed to be at, and that to start raiding really. I know he's got these cannon towers, but every time I've raided, I've done a pretty good job of getting the aggression off of me. So yeah, we're just gonna push into what we can see here. Unfortunately, we don't have our Khan with our Mangadai. But we raid him, we see the stat readout here, and we see that he doesn't have gold being mined here, so it must be elsewhere. I was kind of shocked because there was no gold here, but his stat readout was here, so that was kind of weird. Killing a few villagers here and there, which is not bad ever. 73 eco, Obi's at 60. So now we're starting to build a pretty good eco lead now with 10 villagers discrepancy. We run up. We run into these knights. We can't really contest this here because of his yam speed. He will catch up to us. So at this point, we're just going to send our cav out. We know that there's this cannon tower, so we're going to start burning them and rotating. We knew that gold, he wasn't on this gold, and he wasn't on this gold. So there was a chance he was down here, which he was actually down here. But what we're going to do is raid this girl, and then work our way to the north to this next gold. So we do unfortunately lose all of our Mangadai here, which kind of sucks. But we are still producing a lot of cav. We do have 4 relics, which is really helpful. And we burn all this down. And now the big thing is his military is way out of position here. Way out of position. And we got all these guys coming up. But when we come up here, we're going to burn down real quick. And we can see this tower. And now we see, okay, so he's bringing his step reader. He's finally realized where his gold is at. And this is a lot of vills that was going to die. This is 14, 17 vills. So he surrenders here. But this isn't because he, per se, lost at this point. I mean, if he loses this, he would have he would have been 20 villagers down, and he's already 10 villagers down. In terms of military, I probably could have held against his infantry push. I did pull a ton of my villagers onto gold since I was starting to suffer for gold at this point. But he had to go. Is why he actually left. But I think it was definitely winnable at this point. So this is where he quits. But at this point, there was almost a 20 villager difference here, and then killing those additional 20 villagers would have dropped him back down to here. But another, it would have been basically a 40 villager difference growing, and yeah, that kind of would have put him out of the game for sure. So interesting game again. Both of our graphs were pretty consistent throughout the game. And he did a much better job macroing early than I did, and there was definitely some close calls and being able to change some things up in the beginning. So yeah, that was just a quick match, warm ups, and I'm gonna play some ranked and hopefully get some games recorded for you guys. Thanks for watching, and hopefully I'll start uploading again a little bit more consistently. Just been super busy between work and rugby and just at home projects and things like that. So again, sorry for not getting more videos up. Thanks again, and see you on the next one.